Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're talking about something most people never think about: rare United States coins that are still slipping through everyday hands. Some of these little metal pieces are worth thousands, even hundreds of thousands. And the surprising part? One of these treasures might already be sitting in your home without you realizing it. Collectors have been shocked in recent years, especially in 2025, as new discoveries pushed prices higher than anyone expected. These aren't rumors or guesses. These are real coins, real auctions, and real life-changing amounts of money. So let's start with one of the most mysterious coins ever created by the United States, minting an unbelievable piece that left experts speechless when the first one appeared. Imagine a mint mistake so strange, it broke nearly every rule of coin production. That coin is the 2000p Sacagawea Mule, one of the most legendary modern mint errors ever struck, and one of the most valuable coins a modern collector could dream of finding. This story begins with an accident inside the mint that should have been impossible. A Washington quarter obverse die was accidentally matched with a Sacagawea dollar reverse die. Then this mismatched pair struck a golden dollar planchet. In simple words, the mint created a hybrid coin: George Washington on the front, the Sacagawea eagle on the back, and the golden color of a dollar. A mix that should never have existed, yet somehow did. Collectors call this a mule error, a term used only when dies from two different coin series are accidentally pressed together. Mule errors are rare in all of U.S. history, but the Sacagawea Mule stands at the very top, the crown jewel of modern mint mistakes. The first confirmed example appeared in 2000, and its discovery sent shockwaves through the hobby. Experts immediately wondered, how could this happen? Who took these coins out of the mint before they were caught? And the biggest question, how many exist today? Even now, the full story carries mystery. What collectors do know is that this coin is extremely rare. Fewer than 20 examples are believed to exist. Its appearance only adds to the excitement. On the obverse, you see George Washington, the design used for state quarters. But the golden color, the smooth edge, and the metal content instantly tell you something is wrong. This is no ordinary quarter. Turn it over, and the soaring eagle from the Sacagawea dollar appears. One look, and you immediately understand why this coin is so famous. There is nothing else like it. Because so few are known, grading is everything. Even a small bump in grade can raise the value by tens of thousands of dollars. Mint state pieces, especially in the mid to upper 60s, attract intense competition from collectors. And every mule found has its own history and ownership trail, making each one even more valuable. Before we reveal the highest sale ever recorded, let's look at what collectors have already paid. Early examples sold for tens of thousands. Several reached over $43,570. And a few high-grade pieces skyrocketed to breathtaking prices, up to $195,072. These numbers are not estimates. They are real auction results. And now, the record, the highest verified selling price for a 2000 piece Sacagawea Mule error, the version with the Washington quarter obverse and Sacagawea dollar reverse, hit an unbelievable $195,062. This record was set at Great Collections in 2024, and it still stands as the top confirmed price for this incredible modern rarity. This coin proves that even the most advanced minting systems can create unbelievable surprises that turn into some of the greatest treasures in modern collecting. The Sacagawea Mule remains one of the rarest, most sought-after modern coins ever found, and it's the kind of discovery every collector dreams of spotting in their change. Next up is a coin many Americans have handled without ever knowing they were holding: a small piece of history. The 1976 Bicentennial Eisenhower Dollar from the Denver Mint. Millions of these big, bold dollars were released for the nation's 200th birthday, but hidden among the ordinary pieces are a few rare gems worth far more than face value. And among all the patriotic coins issued in 1976, this Denver minted Ike still stands out with a story that continues to fascinate collectors. At first glance, it looks like a typical large dollar from the 1970s. But the closer you look, the more this coin reveals. This was no ordinary release. It was created to honor the 200th anniversary of the United States. And to mark that milestone, the U.S. Mint introduced design features that were never used before or after on any Eisenhower dollar. The reverse is what catches most people's attention first. The the Liberty Bell placed boldly in front of the moon. It's a powerful symbol, America's past ringing across its future. The obverse still shows President Dwight D. Eisenhower, but the date is unlike anything else in circulation. Instead of a single year, it carries the dual date 1776 to 1976, used only for the Bicentennial series. And when you look just beside the portrait, you'll see the small D mint mark, confirming that this copper-nickel giant was struck at the Denver Mint. Most bicentennial-likes are common, but not every one of them. A small number were struck with unusually sharp detail, brilliant luster, and surfaces clean enough to earn the top mint state grades. These high-end pieces are the ones that send collectors into bidding wars. The difference between an average bicentennial dollar and a truly exceptional one can mean hundreds, or even thousands, of dollars. The Denver issue comes in two varieties, each with a different style of lettering on the reverse. Type 1 has thick, heavy letters. Type 2 features smoother, more elegant lettering. Both types can bring strong premiums in superb condition, but the rarest high-grade examples are the ones that have turned ordinary pocket change into serious money. Most circulated bicentennial-likes remain close to face value, but the finest survivors, the coins that were carefully preserved from the moment they left the mint, have stunned the collecting world. Some mint state 67 coins have sold for over $73,500, and collectors watch every new submission closely, hoping the next perfect example might be worth even more. Before we get to the highest verified sale, think about how incredible this is. A coin created in massive numbers, a coin millions of Americans spent on groceries, tucked into drawers, or saved as souvenirs, can suddenly become a treasure worth thousands simply because one example survived in almost flawless condition. And now we reach the number collectors wait for. The highest confirmed price for a 1776 to 1976 D Bicentennial Eisenhower Dollar reached an astonishing $107,275, paid for a sharply struck, beautifully preserved mint state 67 example. It stands as one of the strongest prices ever recorded for any clad bicentennial-like, proving that perfection is everything in the world of modern coins. The Bicentennial Eisenhower Dollar with the D mint mark reminds us of something important. History doesn't always sit in museums. Sometimes it hides in an old coin folder, a dusty shoebox, or an untouched drawer. And when the right mix of rarity, condition, and American heritage comes together, even a simple dollar can become a priceless piece of the nation's story. Next up is a coin many people overlook without a second thought. It's small, silver, and easily blends in with other old quarters. But collectors know this is no ordinary piece of pocket change. The 1928 Standing Liberty Quarter with the S mint mark is one of the quietest, most surprising treasures in the entire series. This coin came out of the San Francisco Mint, and the tiny S on the front is the detail that changes everything. That little mint mark is the reason certain examples have shocked the hobby, with the finest pieces selling $4,143,590. And some reaching an incredible $167,400. Hard to imagine, isn't it? A simple quarter worth more than a house. Yet it's absolutely real. Picture holding one for a moment. The silver surface has softened with time, wrapped in a rich dark patina that slowly formed over nearly a century. Every coin ages differently, and that natural toning acts like a fingerprint. No two pieces look exactly the same. The shadows settle into the deep parts of the design, while the raised areas shine just a little brighter, giving the whole coin a dramatic, eye-catching look. Collectors love this untouched appearance because it means the coin hasn't been cleaned or altered. Now let's talk about the design, one of the most admired in American coinage. On the front, Lady Liberty stands tall and confident. She steps forward with her shield raised, almost as if she's protecting the nation. The sculptor created this design during a time when America was rapidly growing and stepping onto the world stage. Liberty's strong posture captures that moment perfectly. Even coins with wear still show a graceful outline full of motion and strength. Just below the figure sits the small S mint mark, proof that this piece was struck in San Francisco. Today, that letter is what collectors search for, because the 1928 S had a relatively small mintage, and far fewer survived in good condition. Many were used heavily, many were lost, and many were melted. leaving only a handful of high-grade pieces for collectors to chase. Flip the coin over, and the reverse shows a bald eagle soaring across the sky with its wings stretched wide. The feathers almost look like they're moving. The whole design feels alive, as if the bird is gliding right across your fingertips. It's one of the most beautiful reverse designs ever used on an American quarter. But the real excitement comes when collectors begin examining the condition. Does the coin still show strong detail? Is the toning original and attractive? Was it struck sharply back in 1928? When all these factors come together, good detail, natural patina, strong strike, the value can jump fast. Even lower-grade coins with the S mint mark can sell for hundreds, sometimes thousands. Mid-grade examples often reach six-figure prices, especially if the eye appeal is strong. But the rarest ones, the coins with crisp details, clean surfaces, and that untouched vintage glow, those are the pieces that hit the famous $143,590 to $167,400 range. These are auction record coins, the kind that spark bidding wars and attract national attention. When one of these appears, collectors know they might not see another for years. Why does this quarter command such huge prices? Because the 1928 S Standing Liberty Quarter is one of the toughest dates in the series to find in top condition. The San Francisco Mint often produced weaker strikes around that time, and many coins on the West Coast were used constantly in daily life. A sharply struck, well-preserved 1928S is almost like winning a small lottery. They exist, but only a tiny number remain. Now imagine this. Someone empties an old jewelry box and finds a dark-toned Standing Liberty Quarter. They dust it off, flip it over, and there it is, that small S mint mark. They bring it to a coin shop and suddenly discover they're holding something worth more than they ever imagined. Stories like that aren't just rumors, they've actually happened. That's what makes old silver coins so thrilling. You never know where the next rare one will show up. Maybe in a forgotten jar of change. Maybe in a drawer that hasn't been opened in 40 years. Maybe in a family collection no one ever looked through. The 1928S Standing Liberty Quarter carries history in its design, beauty in its artwork, scarcity in its numbers, and real financial power in the right condition. With its soft silver tone and deep patina, it might look like just a tiny piece of the past, but sometimes this little circle of silver is worth far more than anyone expects. A small coin with the power to change someone's day in an instant. Next, we examine one of the most misunderstood and surprising treasures ever produced by the United States Mint, a coin that millions of Americans used for bus fares, vending machines, and everyday purchases, all without realizing the secret hiding in plain sight. To most people, it was just another small dollar coin that blended into the pocket. But for collectors, this piece became something far more important. This is the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar with the wide rim, also known as the near-date variety, and it stands today as one of the most significant modern dollar discoveries ever to appear in regular circulation. Chances are, many people have held a Susan B. Anthony dollar at some point in their lives. They were everywhere for a while, especially in the early 1980s. Yet only a tiny percentage of people know what truly separates this rare version from the ordinary one. At first glance, both coins look practically identical. Same portrait, same size, same color, same design. But the treasure is in the details, and in this case, the detail that changes everything is shockingly small. The difference sits in the narrow space between the rim and the date. That slight shift, that tiny adjustment, is what turns a common, everyday dollar into a collectible worth many times its face value. To really understand how this happened, we need to step back into the late 1970s. At that time, the U.S. Mint was preparing to release a new coin unlike anything Americans had used before. The Susan B. Anthony dollar became the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real woman, marking a significant moment in the nation's history and culture. It symbolized progress, equality, and a step forward in honoring influential American figures who had not appeared on coinage before. The Mint invested a lot of care into its design, hoping to make a coin that was modern, practical, and symbolic all at once. Production started at the Philadelphia Mint, and during the earliest stages, the Mint created and tested a few trial dies. These early dies produced a rim that was noticeably wider than the one seen on the final coins, pushing the date closer to the edge. That subtle difference created the famous near-date appearance, the defining feature of this variety. But these experimental dies were short-lived. After testing, they were replaced quickly, and normal dies took over production. That brief window in which the wide rim was used is the reason this variety is much rarer today. While millions of regular Susan B. Anthony dollars were struck and released across the country, the wide rim pieces quietly slipped into circulation in far smaller numbers. And because the difference is so subtle, most people never noticed anything. Even collectors sometimes need to compare the normal and wide rim coins side by side to see the change in spacing around the date. That tiny visual clue makes this one of the most overlooked and exciting modern finds still hiding in old jars, drawers, and forgotten coin rolls. But rarity alone isn't the full story. Condition plays an even bigger role in determining value. The Susan B. Anthony Dollar series is well known for being tough on quality. Coins from this era often show rough surfaces, weak strikes, and plenty of contact marks from high-speed minting and circulation. Many were tossed in bags, pushed through coin machines, and dropped into cash registers, leaving them dull, scratched, or heavily marked. That's why a wide rim example that survives in mint state 65, 66, or higher becomes so valuable. Only a small number escaped heavy handling, and these exceptionally clean coins are the ones serious collectors focus on. A high-grade specimen stands out immediately, with sharper details, fewer marks, and a bright, original appearance that shows it was never abused in circulation. Beyond rarity and condition, this coin represents a turning point in U.S. coin production. It marks the beginning of the small-sized dollar era, a time when the mint was experimenting with new design techniques and trying to modernize American currency. That period of testing and rapid change is exactly why unexpected varieties like the wide rim appeared, unplanned details that today are looked at as prized treasures from a moment of transition. Collector interest has only grown stronger over the years. Wide rim examples certified by PCGS or NGC continue to draw impressive bids at auctions and online sales. Even lightly circulated examples can sell for solid amounts. But the true excitement begins with coins that grade in the upper mint state levels. These are the pieces that show the full beauty of the design, with sharp stars, a clear portrait, and strong edges. So what are collectors actually paying today? Well, mint state wide rim dollars regularly sell for hundreds of dollars, even without extraordinary quality. But once you move into the higher grades, with crisp detail and smooth, bright surfaces, the price can rise into the multiple thousands. This proves that this modern variety has real long-term strength in the numismatic marketplace. And now comes the highlight of the entire story: the highest confirmed price ever paid for a 1979 P wide rim, the near-date variety that so many collectors search for in rolls, jars, and inherited collections. The record sale reached a remarkable $123,000. Imagine that, a modern dollar coin selling for nearly $7,000. It's a powerful reminder that even coins from recent decades can hold surprising value if they contain rare traits and survive in exceptional condition. As more collectors learn how to tell the difference between the common normal rim and the much scarcer wide rim, interest continues to rise. Many beginners start their collecting journey with this coin, hoping they'll be the next person to find one in an old family stash or among a box of saved change. The 1979 wide rim Susan B. Anthony Dollar is the perfect example of how a small detail, something overlooked by millions of people, can transform an ordinary coin into a hidden treasure worth searching for. It's a coin with history, rarity, and a story that continues to inspire collectors every single year. Next up, we turn our attention to a coin that millions of Americans handled every single day throughout the early 1970s. Completely unaware that the right example could one day rise to become one of the most impressive modern rarities in U.S. dollar coinage. This is the 1971 Eisenhower Dollar from the Denver Mint, a coin that appears simple at first glance, yet carries a surprising story of scarcity, condition challenges, and remarkable value at the highest grades. To most people who spent these coins in the 70s, the 1971 DI dollar looked like nothing special. Big, heavy, made from copper nickel clad, and created for real, everyday circulation. But collectors today see it very differently. This Denver issue has become one of the toughest early Eisenhower dollars to find in truly clean, high-quality condition. And because of that, it is now famous for having some of the most dramatic value jumps as grades increase, something few expected from a coin that once sat in bank bags by the millions. During 1971, the Denver Mint was running its presses almost nonstop. Eisenhower dollars were brand new, the first large-size circulating dollars since the peace dollar ended in the 1930s, and demand across the country was huge. To keep up, the Mint used high-speed production with heavy loads, striking millions of coins as quickly as possible. But this massive output created the very challenge collectors face today. Most 1971 dollars were struck with only moderate pressure and then handled roughly. After minting, the coins were dumped into huge metal bins, shoved into counting machines, and transported in thick canvas bags that allowed thousands of heavy coins to collide with each other. With every impact came a new mark: scratches, nicks, dents, and dull patches. Even coins that technically never entered circulation often picked up numerous contact marks simply from the way they were stored and moved around. This is why truly high-grade examples are so rare. A collector examining a 1971 dollar knows they must look carefully across every inch of the surface cheek, fields, rim, even the reverse, because nearly every coin from this first Denver issue carries obvious signs of heavy handling long before it ever reached the public. On the front, the obverse features the bold portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the nation's 34th president and a symbol of American leadership during World War II and the early Cold War era. His likeness is strong and forward-facing, with the date 1971 placed neatly below his neck. And just above the last digit of the date sits the D Mint mark, the tiny letter that reveals this coin's origin at the Denver Mint. The reverse is one of the most iconic designs in all modern U.S. coinage. It features the Apollo 11 mission emblem, an eagle descending toward the lunar surface, wings spread wide, clutching an olive branch, with the Earth rising above in the distance. This design honors the 1969 moon landing and represents a proud era of American achievement and exploration. For collectors, a sharply struck reverse where feathers on the wings and details on the lunar surface are crisp is one of the first signs of a superior example. But for this coin, condition rules everything. The difference between a typical mint state example and an exceptional one can mean a huge jump in value. Mint state 63 and 64 coins are easy to find, but often carry plenty of contact marks. But once you step into mint state 65, the character of the coin changes noticeably. A bright, clean MS65 shows stronger luster, fewer surface hits, and better visual balance. But even these coins are scarce. Climb one more step into mint state 66, and the rarity becomes extreme. Very few 1971 dollars possess the clean surfaces, sharp detail, and untouched luster required for such a high grade. These coins stand among the most difficult early Ike dollars to locate in top condition, making them highly desirable for collectors building advanced registry sets. The Eisenhower series as a whole is notorious among modern collectors for being one of the hardest sets to assemble in high grade. Early issues like the 1971 D were simply not saved in the numbers or with the care needed to supply the hobby today. That is why certified examples from PCGS and NGC receive so much attention, especially those with the highest labels and the best eye appeal. Auction results make this very clear. Strong mint state coins consistently bring impressive prices, and any piece with outstanding surfaces can climb far beyond expectations. Even mid-range mint state examples can reach solid three-figure amounts depending on luster, strike, and overall appearance. But the story changes completely when you reach the highest quality levels. Now we arrive at the most exciting moment, the highest confirmed auction result ever paid for a 1971 D Eisenhower dollar. A superb mint state specimen, certified at an elite grade, achieved an astonishing four-figure price, proving that even a coin that once rolled around in bank bags and cash drawers can transform into a major modern rarity when perfectly preserved. This record sale is a powerful reminder that modern clad dollars, coins many people ignored or overlooked, can become serious numismatic treasures under the right conditions. The story of the 1971 D Eisenhower dollar shows just how much history, luck, and survival can impact a coin's journey. Hidden treasures like this still sit in old collections, forgotten boxes, inherited jars, and untouched rolls across the country. For collectors searching for the toughest early Ike dollars, the 1971D remains one of the most challenging and rewarding discoveries in the entire Eisenhower series. And that brings us to the end of today's journey through some of the most overlooked treasures in American coinage. These coins may look ordinary to the untrained eye, but as you've seen, the right variety, the right mint mark, and the right condition can turn everyday pocket change into something truly extraordinary. If you enjoyed discovering the hidden stories and real values behind these coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another deep dive into rare US coins. And remember, your next great find might be sitting in an old drawer, a family box, or even your loose change. Keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, the next treasure could be yours.